Morning all. I thought I'd look at the Kasparov-Karpov match, and this has been held in Valencia. This was game 2. It's a rapid match. Kasparov was playing white, he played d4. Karpov played d5. So we have now Queen's Gambit declined. White puts more pressure on d5. Black plays bishop e7. And now Kasparov releases the tension in the centre after this bishop e7. He plays actually cd. And now bishop f4. Usually the bishop would go to g5, but f4's got some points as well. It's provoking an early c6 from black here, perhaps. And now after queen c2, black plays bishop d6. So is Karpov going to equalise quite easily with this bishop exchange? Well, Kasparov is not concerned. He takes that bishop and just plays e3. So he's content with a small advantage here. After knight e7, bishop d3. So this bishop is slightly better than its counterpart. After knight d7, knight ge2. So where is the knight heading? Potentially it can go to f4 to id5, but maybe also it can go to g3, maybe to support f3 and e4 later. I mean, usually e4 is quite a dangerous plan anyway in this system. So we'll see now. After h6, white simply castles at the moment, black castles, and now Kasparov plays a3. So with this move, is another plan is revealed. Maybe b4, b5, the minority attack, to try and dent black's pawn structure, and leave black with, say, an isolated pawn here and an isolated pawn here, if this pawn ever took on c6. So white would also be able to get a grip on c5. So what is Karpov's plan against this? Well, he stops b4, he plays a5, and now the move rook ad1 is played. So it's a strange, mysterious rook move, as Nd2 would say. But actually, it's not that mysterious here, because I think it's really just preparing e4, giving more support to the d4 pawn, and potentially for d5 later, as we'll see. So b6 and now e4 is played here. Kasparov doesn't mind accepting the isolated pawn, as his pieces become much greater liberated. So after d takes, knight takes, queen b8, he now prepares the move d5 by playing knight 2 to c3. So this knight is also joining in for d5 potentially. After bishop a6, although Karpov has reduced with this possible exchange, the dangerous bishop, white still has this dangerous d pawn to dissolve, which Kasparov immediately seizes the opportunity to do that, playing d5 here. And with this, there's some dangers for the black king. So although structurally everything seems okay now, with no real imbalance, there is a superior knight here, which lands a devastating tactic, as we're about to see. After queen d2, what is black doing with his knight? Well, he doesn't want an almighty pin. If he plays rook d8, there's a disgusting pin here on the d file, rook d1. Or even stronger, Rybka gives knight c3 actually. So black can't afford to leave that knight there. He plays actually knight c5, and now this brilliant blow, which is not actually shown by Rybka at the moment, depth 12. I wonder if it is a completely sound move, and I wonder if you can guess it if I give you, say, 10 seconds here, starting from now. Okay, I've also given Rybka 10 seconds whilst giving you 10 seconds, and it can't find the move either. So if you indicate just knight c5, yeah, that's the Rybka move with a slight advantage. What Kasparov played was knight f6. And now the evaluation has hugely shot up for white to 2.35, so it completely missed that. If I rewind one move here, now it's giving knight f6 now that it's seen it, but been forced to see it. It's been absolutely forced to see it. It's giving it. This is Rybka 2.32. It's an older version of Rybka. Maybe I need to update or something. But Kasparov still has some brilliancy. So knight f6 check. So let's examine the possibilities. Well, Karpov took on f6. Let's just quickly examine king h8. There's rook h5, and this is a mate in 4, apparently, because now the threat is just rook takes h6, takes queen h6 mating, and the ridiculous moves are given by the computer of queen f4, queen h2, which just loses the queen just to delay that. So this is a no-go area for black. He has to take the knight, and after queen takes h6, the threats are unveiled. Rook h5 and queen h8 or queen h7 would be mating. So let's look at a rook move anyway, just to make sure there's no resources here. Rook h5, there's no resource here to stop being mated. Queen h2 is given as a ridiculous defence, so there's nothing. So queen h8, there's nothing there which black could do. So forget a rook move. What Karpov does is probably the only move to stay alive. He plays f5. So, does Kasparov want to play rook takes f5? Well, if rook takes f5, how good is your defence? Can you see a defensive resource now to stop against the threat of rook h5 and rook g5? Because they're both threatening. Well, rook g5 is the immediate threat of mate. Rook h5 is threatening mate on h7 or h8. So what would you play as black here as a tactical test? Because apparently there is a move, there is a point to Karpov's move here, that f5, which wasn't possible in the previous position. That's interesting. Let's have a quick look at it. Okay, can you guess Karpov's move if I give you 10 seconds? Starting from now. In this fictional position. This didn't occur in the game. So starting from now. Okay, remarkably, knight e6, apparently. So that stops rook g5. But what about rook h5? Well, here, believe it or not, f6 would hold. So there's no queen h7 mating because of that rook on a7. And if check here, king f7, apparently this is not so clear. So what did Kasparov play then to this f5?